In today's episode, Sangram asks, what technologies will be essential as the world goes virtual for a few months due to the pandemic? Well, for starters, the obvious ones, anything collaboration related. So video conferencing, webinars, virtual conferences, all those things that people need in order just to be able to have meetings and be able to get work done. Things like Google Suite for the office, LogMeIns, GoToMeeting, and GoToWebinar. You name it. If it's a type of communication software, it's going to do well. Slack, for example. I would expect Slack to do extremely well during this period. Non-obvious stuff is going to be cloud stuff, cloud office software, because guess what? IT can't come to your house, right? I mean, for a variety of reasons, but especially during a pandemic, they're not going to be traveling out to make house calls. So as long as you have a computer with a functional browser and good enough internet, you're going to be relying heavily on cloud software. So cloud office software, cloud IT management software, cloud antivirus, all things cloud. Because again, IT can't come to your house. Technologies like faster internet by any means, whether it is 5G, which is still too early for almost everyone, or just faster Wi-Fi. I would expect to see some change out of things like routers and Wi-Fi access points as people realize that the thing that has been collecting dust in the corner of their living room for the last 5 years is a little out of date, and picking up with the faster stuff. I had a router at my house here that I just replaced not too long ago, and it was a substantial change in speeds. So again, it's all infrastructure stuff. I think there's a lot of knock-on effects for infrastructure that we will not see until we're through the pandemic period. But it'll be good for those technology companies that make infrastructure stuff like Netgear, Cisco Systems, and etc. We're going to see some interesting use cases of automation, and specifically physical things like drones, or Boston Robotics, their spot drones, the walking dog-like drones, because many things like physical plant security are things that you can't really do solely virtually. You need to have something there that is, walking the perimeter, doing security sweeps, etc. And let's be honest, if you're breaking into somebody's warehouse and you see a giant 300-pound robot dog, you're probably going to not do that because you don't know what the thing is capable of, except that it can run really, really fast. But all things drones and automation, we are already seeing some knock-on effects in delivery services. Companies saying that they will do things like dropping off a delivery or an order of food or whatever just on the front porch so that you don't have to physically interact with another human being, which again is a good thing because that's where contagion spreads. So I would expect to see some progress, not a ton, but some progress made in delivery drones, not flying ones, just the little rolling ones. We've seen proofs of concept from Taco Bell and Pizza Hut where they have a rolling robot that just rolls up to the side of your sidewalk, and you walk out with your phone and you scan your code and it opens up and gives you your pizza. I would expect to see more things like that because those are clearly use cases that are simple. Those are use cases that make a lot of sense. The same is true for within very specific contexts, some autonomous vehicles, not driving people around for replacing all your Ubers, but within a very specific limited context, like just being able to ferry somebody from one point to another without a second human in the vehicle. And I would not expect to see a lot of that. In marketing specifically, I expect to see growth in 3 areas. I expect to see growth in all things video, whether it is video software, using Camtasia, for example, for this video hardware, again, cameras and such, as people discover that webcam they've been holding on to since 2012 doesn't quite cut the mustard anymore for high-quality video chat. Audio equipment, of course, we expect to see some of that, even if it's just simple things like simple headsets. I would expect to see some changes being made there. All things content. So, content marketing, blogging, white papers, all the graphics and creation tools. Again, all the cloud-based things, services like Canva, I would expect to do well. Podcasting, I would expect to do extremely well. If podcasting has already been on a tear for the last few years, I'd expect to see podcasting do extremely well in the next year or so as people looking for things to do can ask their smart devices, play the Marketing Over Coffee podcast. So expect to see some of that there. And then the third area in marketing specifically is analytics. I expect to see all things analytics do extremely well for two reasons. One, the pandemic is going to be accompanied by a recession. There's very little doubt of that. And with a recession comes a relentless focus on ROI. So with that, you need analytics to understand the ROI of what it is that your company is doing. And two, because so much will have gone virtual and so much will have gone digital, it's a lot easier to measure when, we always talk about how do you differentiate and understand the value of non-digital interactions like, shopping at the mall or face-to-face meetings. Well, for 3 months, you're going to have a huge test bed that will essentially tell you, here's the delta of taking away that. Now, there's a lot of confounding factors, so don't try to do a simple regression. It will not go well. But because all of that activity will be moved to virtual, you will have many more opportunities to measure it. So, and see how the click stream works, see how people hop from channel to channel. So things like customer journey mapping will become very informative as you have so much more data in the digital realm because people will be doing much less in the physical realm. All of these trends, or all of these macro activities, I think will change how we do work because we will find that, well, to get business done, we don't necessarily need to have an office. We don't necessarily need to have a physical building to go to just to sit in meetings. We'll find that we get just as much or just as little done in virtual meetings as we do in real meetings, right? You'll want, for fun, you'll want to get out the conference call bingo cards because even though it's 2020, people still have a tough time sometimes operating the telephone. There'll be a lot of, can anyone hear me? Is this on? All that stuff. So expect that. Have a little fun with it. Maybe make it into a drinking game. And we'll see how much of this sticks around after business resumes in the next 3 or 6 months. As we get past the initial phase of the pandemic and start assessing the overall impacts. But things like more automation, more cost efficiencies, more cloud-based things. I think we'll see a lot of that. I think we'll see a lot of that continuing on, companies saying, hey, we saved a lot of money by having people working from their homes. One of the reasons why Trust Insights is a virtual company is because it is an enormous cost savings to not have to pay rent for an office. And for the work we do, I don't need to have an office. I don't think, other than maybe a couple of meetings at other people's offices, never had to host anybody for a business meeting. If they did, I'll stick them at my dining room table. Let the dog say hello to them. But that's what technologies are going to be essential. All things cloud, VPNs, security software, going to be really important to make sure that security is being maintained well. Cloud, and then in the marketing side, video, audio, content, and analytics. So good question. Lots to plan ahead for. Get ahead of it now. If your infrastructure is not ready, you need to be accelerating plans. Look at SaaS-based companies that allow you to swipe the credit card and just get going right away, as opposed to the long pitch process, because it literally is days that you have in places. As we see offices and schools and things closing down, you will not have a long time. So look at all the SaaS software companies that just let you swipe a credit card and get going. If you have follow-up questions, leave them in the comments box below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter. We'll talk to you soon.
Want help solving your company's data, analytics, and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.